Hi, everyone, and welcome to your yoga class. My name is Ms. Schlachter, and I'm one of the social workers here at Long Meadow High School, and I'm going to be guiding you through a yoga and mindfulness class today. So let's get started. If you have a mat, that'd be wonderful. If you don't have a mat where you are, you can just use your carpet or an area in your house that's quiet and private. You can use a large beach towel. But it's always nice to have a sticky mat, especially when we do some standing poses. So get your stuff together, whatever it is that you can get. You can always do yoga even if you don't have all the props. You can see in the corner I have a lot of yoga props. I'm not going to be using them today much because I know that you might not have them at home or at school, wherever you're doing this. So do your best and enjoy it, and let's get started. So I'm going to move back to my mat, and I do have a blanket here just because it's a lot more comfortable to sit on a folded blanket if you have one that's firm. If you don't, you can just sit right on your mat. Just making sure I have the right time here. Okay, got it. So come back and sit, and bring your knees in front of you and your feet in front of you. And then cross your legs in the center of your shins and let your knees come down to the floor and cross your legs. You can try to kind of roll onto the tops of your feet to come to a comfortable seated position. And you can see how I'm sitting on the blanket. It helps to support my hips and pelvis so I can stay comfortable here. So bring your spine nice and straight so your hips and your shoulders and your ears are all in one line. Nice straight spine. You can rest your hands on your knees and start to roll your shoulders back a couple of times. Just really reach the shoulders up toward the ears and pull them back. Reach them up towards the ears and pull them back. We hold so much tension in our shoulders and our necks, especially from all the schoolwork we do and being on the phone. We're always doing this. So we end up getting a lot of tension in our neck and shoulders. So really roll them back, up and back, and then reach the shoulders down and reach the hands to the knees. And you can give a gentle pull on your knees to get the spine straight. So you see how if I'm here and I pull back on my knees, I can bring my spine nice and straight and tall. And just kind of feel that and play with that a little bit. And then let your eyes close and begin to find some quiet. Notice what it feels like to have a strong, straight spine. You can let the arms release and relax a little. So your arms are released and relaxed, but your spine is straight and tall. Reach up through the crown of the head towards the ceiling. See if you can get really heavy in the hips and in the legs. Bring weight into the lower body. Let the lower body sink and be heavy. But at the same time, reach the spine toward the ceiling, reach the head toward the ceiling. So it's almost like you're moving your body in two directions. The lower body is staying heavy and grounded, and the upper body is reaching tall. And then with your eyes closed, begin to breathe through the nose, in through the nose, and out through the nose. As you inhale in, feel the breath move through the nostrils. You might even feel a cooling sensation on the back of your throat as the breath moves down the throat, into the lungs, filling up the chest cavity. Feel the ribs lift and move away from the spine. And exhale, release the ribs, release the lungs, let the breath flow out. Feel the breath move up the throat and out the nose. So being very aware of each inhalation and each exhalation and the path that the breath takes. Follow the breath in and follow the breath out. Let your mouth be closed, your lips parted gently. Release the muscles in the face. Release the muscles in the jaw. With every inhalation, feel the chest fill and lift. And with every exhalation, feel the chest move down, the shoulders release. Let the breath bring relaxation and peace. With each exhalation, relaxing the body more, relaxing the mind more, surrendering to the breath. Good. Now we're going to switch to cross of the legs because you might find that you're already getting tired of sitting in this position. So again, crossing at the center of the shins, letting the knees move down. Try your best to roll to the top of the feet. So we don't want to be like this. We want the feet tucked down, tops of the feet tucked down, and let the knees come. And again, this might feel different because we're different from side to side. Let's bring the root of the hands to the top of the thighs and move the skin down. Do that a few times. Like a little massage, moving the skin down. With a little pressure, move the skin down. Good. And again, let the hands move around the knee and pull, give a gentle pull on the knee and let that spine come straight. So be careful not to arch the back and to bring the ribs forward. So we want to keep a nice straight spine, abdomen in, and lift moving up rather than out. Right, so up, lengthen the spine. Good. And bring the arms up, straight up, and reach the arms straight up. So your arms come by your ears, the top of your head moving toward the ceiling, the hips, pelvis, and legs still really heavy and grounded. So we're reaching the torso out of the hips. And bring length to the side body, reach. Look up to the sky, reach. Get as much length as you can. Good, and we're going to bring the left hand to the right knee. The right hand moves behind you. And twist. Give a nice gentle twist. Keep the chin in line with the chest. Keep a weight in that left leg so you're not doing this, right? We want to be really grounded through the hips and twist through the torso. Good. And then inhale, reach up again, length. And exhale, reaching the right hand to the left knee. The left hand moves behind you. And if you can, reach the floor, that's great. You can use it as a little kickstand. And lengthen the spine. Breathe in and exhale. When you exhale, you can try to deepen your twist. Nice relaxed breath. Be very aware of the breath. And inhale, reach. And exhale, bring the arms down. Good. So let's come out of sitting and a break from sitting. And let's come into table pose. So table pose is when your wrists are under your shoulders and your knees are under your hips, okay? And this is table pose. And so let's do a little cat-cow, right? So cat-cow is when we arch our back like this, we round our back, and chin to chest, and we really kind of round the back like a cat. And then cow, we move, and this is the arch. I misspoke before. This is the arch. You reach your eyes forward, you look up, and then we go back and forth through that movement. Rounding and arching. So rounding, really move that pelvis forward, really lengthen the spine, lots of rounding, chin to chest, really reach and get lots of length, push away from the mat, and then bring an arch into the back, chest is moving forward, hips are moving up, look up, and come back to neutral. Good. And then let's move one leg back. Let's move the right leg back, right? So the left knee stays bent, the right leg straightens, and bring the heel right over the toes and lengthen that right leg. Reach through the chest, long spine. Just working out the backs of the legs a little bit, and then move back into table pose. Reach back with the left leg, nice straight leg, straighten the backs of those legs, or the one leg rather. Keep the tummy tucked in. Look straight ahead, don't look down. Lengthen from the crown of the head to the heel of the foot. And I need to move my foot back a little bit so my toes are right under my heel, and I can stretch through the heel and really get that nice straight leg. Moving back into table pose. And let's rest in child's pose. So in child's pose, our knees are hip width apart, and we come back, we bring the hips back and the belly down in between our legs, and if you can, reach the forehead down. You can let the forehead rest on the mat. If this is hard, you can keep your ankles together like this and bring the knees apart and go down so you have some more space for your torso like that. So whatever's comfortable, this should be a pose of rest. And just breathe here for a few breaths, reaching the tailbone toward the floor, trying to lower the buttocks toward the floor, lower the forehead toward the floor. So we don't want to be like this, right? So we tuck and move back and breathe. Good. So now coming back to table for downward facing dog. So we start from the table pose. We turn our toes under, and then we want to lift our hips toward the ceiling and straighten our legs as much as we can, okay? So right now my heels are high, I'm reaching my hips, and then slowly, slowly, slowly I bring the heels toward the floor, and I bring the torso toward the legs, and I look up at the top of the thighs, moving the center of the thighs back, extending through the arms, really pushing through all 10 fingers. Fingers are flat on the mat, spread apart. Heels moving down. Really reach through the calves, reach through the heels. Pelvis is moving up toward the ceiling. Breathe here. Let it come down into table. We're going to do that one more time. You can rest if you need to. So our abdomen is always lifting up. We're never just letting it sag, right? So we're keeping it, the abdomen lifting toward our spine. When you're ready, we have our wrists under our shoulders. Our wrists are shoulder width apart. Our knees are under our hips. Our knees are hip width apart, right? So we're in a nice square. Turn the toes under. And again, I'm going to lead with my hips up, up, up toward the ceiling. I don't even care if your knees get bent, if you straighten your legs. Keep your knees bent and really push through the arms. Strong fingers. And then look up at the thighs. And then see if you can start to keep the pelvis high and straighten the legs, reaching the heels toward the floor. So I've been doing yoga for a long time, and my heels, if I'm in the pose right, I'm still a little tight in those calves, so I'm just hovering over the floor. I'm not quite there. Now, if I wanted to, I could reach them, but I would lose the integrity in my hips. And I really want nice high hips and a nice straight spine. That's my priority. So reach, breathe, good, and come down and rest in child's pose. Couple of breaths here. Good. So we're going to come to sitting again. And this time we are going to bring the soles of the feet together. Okay? So the soles of the feet are together, and you might notice as butterfly pose. And you can see I'm kind of peeling my toes apart. I don't know if you can see how you can, that's the best angle for that. But the balls of the feet are together, the heels of the feet are together, and the toes, I'm like opening them like a book. So the toes come apart like a book. And just spend a minute just kind of like peeling each toe apart. I know we don't usually give our toes lots of attention, but the toes can get really sore, the feet can get really sore. We walk on them all day long, right? They take a lot of burden. So it's nice to kind of give your feet and your toes some attention. Good. And then you can hold your ankles. And again, roll the shoulders back and down. Nice straight spine, abdomen back toward the spine, right? So we're not arching like that. We've got a nice straight spine. Reaching the head toward the ceiling, reaching the knees and hips down. Just lengthening the spine, breathing where you are. If you're here, that's totally fine, right? Just be where you are. Let the knees just open up slowly. With every breath, let go. This is a pose of surrender, right? Trying to muscle your knees down to the floor is never going to work. You're only going to get tension in other parts of your body, right? So if you just hold on nice and gently to your ankles, roll the shoulders back, let the spine lengthen, let the chest lift, pull the abdomen back, and let the knees just open softly, using your breath with every exhalation, inviting relaxation, inviting peace, inviting surrender. Your knees will begin to release and relax down. Remain focused on the breath. Breathe in, and breathe out, and relax. Good. So we're going to stretch the legs out straight. This is staff pose. So my legs are straight, my feet are together, and I am reaching through the ball of the foot, right? So I'm not pointing, I'm reaching through the ball. Like the ball of the foot is pressing toward the computer. And my shoulders rounding back, and let the hands come to either side and plug the hands in if you can. So if this is a little bit more stretch on the arms, if you can bring your palms down, you can play with that. Palms down or fingertips down. This is a lot easier because you can keep your elbows bent. Unless you have really long arms, this might be comfortable for you. My arms are not long. My arms are on the short side, so compared to my body. So this is where I'm at. That's comfortable for me. Notice that I'm keeping my chest lifted and my shoulders back. I'm not rounding, right? Because we want to undo all that rounding from the day, from being on the computer. And breathe here. Really working the legs straight. It's easy to kind of, can't really see me. It's easy to kind of forget about the legs right once we get here. But we're really reaching the back of the knee toward the mat. Lengthening through the heel, lengthening through the ball of the foot. You can see I have my toes curled back just a little bit. Good. And see if you can reach up to the ceiling. Lengthen, right? So again, heavy through the hips, heavy through the pelvis, really, really grounded in the legs. I'm reaching through the legs, really active. I'm not just sitting here. Like I am working my legs hard, and I'm reaching through the arms, lengthening the sides of the body and the torso. Breathe. Good. Let's do a twist here. So same thing. So we bring my left hand to my right knee, and I bring my right hand around, and I use the back hand as a kickstand and push into the mat, lengthen the spine, and twist. Breathe. Good. And reach straight up. And then I'm going to bring my right hand to my left knee, my left hand around, and push through that back hand and breathe, twist. Good. And reach and lower down. Good job. So we're going to come to standing on the mat. Let me check my time. All right. So, my mat back a little bit so you can see my. Okay. So let's come to standing on the mat, and you can have your feet about hip width apart and reaching down through the soles of the feet. So let's stand here and get grounded for a moment. It's so easy just to stand, right? We stand up, we might lean to one side or the other, and just kind of stand and not really think about it, right? But we're going to stand in a way that we think about it today. So when we stand in mountain pose or Tadasana, which is what we call it in yoga, we stand in this really strong, powerful, mindful way. And so our feet are hip width apart, and I am going to press my big toe into the mat, and I'm going to lift the other toes. See if you can play with that a little bit. And then once you play with that a little bit, do the opposite. So we're going to lift the big toe and see if you can press the other 4 toes into the mat. So this is where we get really kind of playful with our feet again. Again, in yoga, our toes and our feet are so important. They do so much as you practice. You can do all these little things and really change the pose just by changing where your toe is. So lifting all of the toes up, and then see if you can put them down slowly and spread the toes as much as you can, and then really press the toes into the mat. Press the heels into the mat. When you press the heels into the mat, you might feel that your body actually moves back a little bit. Maybe sometimes we lean forward Sometimes we lean forward without realizing it, right? But when we press into the heels, it brings us back into neutral. So pressing into the feet, and then see if you can lift, like with your mind, engage the inside of the legs. So we're lifting through the inside of the legs. So we're reaching down into the floor as strong as we can. We are so strong, like a mountain. And then see how we stick our butts out a lot. So see if you can scooch the hips forward, pelvis forward, and tuck the tailbone. This is our tailbone. It's the very bottom of our spine, right? And if we have our feet hip width apart and we push our hips forward, it's like we're tucking our tailbone right between our glutes in a way. And it gives all this nice space, and it releases the lower back. It can feel so good if you can find that sweet spot. And then engaging our abdominals, bringing the abdominals to the spine. And then again, roll the shoulders back and reach the fingertips down toward the floor so that you feel the spread of the shoulder blades. You feel the spread of the shoulders moving down and back. So good for our bodies to do this, right? So once you're here and you're in mountain pose, close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that and really feel it, right? So we can talk about it, you can listen to it. Feel where you are in this pose today. Feel if you can sense something new in your feet. If you can sense something new in the strength and the power of your legs. See if you can feel the torso lengthening, the side bodies lengthening. In fact, reach toward the ceiling again. Really working the legs down and reach up, the torso up out of the hips. Reach and lengthen the body, lengthen toward the ceiling, right? And now bring your arms down, but keep the length in the torso. Keep that feeling of long spine, long ribs. Close the eyes and just feel it. Again, we're not just standing, this is very active. I'm pressing so hard through my heels and my legs are so engaged. I'm working so hard on being strong and straight. My abdominal is tucked, it's not just hanging there. Engaged core, engaged spine. Now, with all this engagement, see if you can soften your face. Release the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Let the jaw release and relax. Let the fingers just sort of, almost like you're holding like a little lotus flower in each of your hands. Just this gentle grip in your hands, like you're holding something so precious that you want to keep safe and snug, but you don't want to squish. Let the forehead release and relax. Feel the chest lift toward the wall in front of you. Imagine that there is this light in your chest shining. Move your mind back to your feet, ground really heavily through your heels, like you're growing roots, like you're just going to be cemented into this place where you're standing. So strong. But yet there's this sense of peace, sense of stability. So it's, when you're in mountain pose, there's this really interesting balance between strength and efforting and also feeling stable and balanced and at peace. Release the eyes. Relax the muscles behind the eyes. Good. So let's move into a little balance, right? So we're talking about stability and balance today. So we're going to do tree pose. And if you're near a wall, that's great. If you need to use the wall, you can for sure. But with all this balance and grounding that we just did, I wonder if you can try tree pose without the wall. So we're going to use all this length that we just created in the body by grounding through the foot, lengthening up all the way up the leg, all the way up the body, and reaching through our heads. So with all this length and stability, see if you can bring your foot up and bend your knee. I'll do it from the side so you can see. So first I'm going to stabilize my left side and really get a lot of length and stability. And then I'm going to bring my knee up and see if you can hold below the knee. Now you're going to want to bend this standing leg. And when you bend that standing leg, you're going to lose all that nice strength and balance. So really reaching toward a straight leg. Bring the knee to the chest to the knee. Good. And come on down. We're just prepping for tree pose. Now we're going to move to the other side. So again, focus on that right leg. Length, stability. And then shift the weight. Bend the left knee. Interlace your fingers around the left knee or underneath the left knee. Chest to knee, knee to chest. Straight standing leg. Strong, strong, strong. It's always good to see if you can stare straight ahead at something, to get your gaze locked on something. You might need to play with the toes, right? Right now I'm lifting. I felt a little wobbly, so I actually lifted my toes up, and it helps me ground through the heel and the ball of the foot. And then come down. Good. And now we're going to move into tree. So, I forgot what side I started on. So, I'm just going to go. So again, come into your mountain pose, strong and straight. Take a moment, find it. And then lift the foot, turn the knee out, and see if you can just place the sole of the foot onto the left, inside of the left calf. Good. And that's all you need to do. This is a low tree. If you feel good, you can bring your hands to your heart. And you can come down. If this is working really well for you, and you want to stay up or you want to go to the next step, you can grab onto your ankle and you can bring the sole of your foot higher up on your leg. Now, a lot of people go right for the knee. You never want to put the sole of your foot on your knee because you can really hurt your knee. So it's either below your knee or above your knee, okay? And again, you can bring your hands here. You can't really see me, but I can bring them up. They're like this. Good, and when you're ready, bring them on down. We're gonna move to the other side. Find your mountain pose. Reach through the right side or whatever side you're working on, straight, straight, and strong. And bring the sole of the foot to the side, inside of the calf. Okay. And find your hands. You do this, you can go up like this. Good, now that that's working well for you, you can reach down. Again, you could have a wall, and I can use the wall for stability while I grab my ankle and bring my sole to the top of the inside of the thigh, above of the knee, right? And my pelvis is straight, my hips are straight. And then if you want to play with your balance, you can bring your hand away from the wall, hands to chest. You can bring your hands to steeple pose. And all the while, I'm pressing the pelvis forward, right? Because if I do this, if I'm trying to get my balance and I'm here, I'm never going to be straight. I'm never going to find the strength of the pose. So you need to be always lengthening through the standing leg, pressing the sole of the foot against the thigh against the sole of the foot, and bringing the hips forward. And that's when you're going to find the stability. Good, and come down and finish. Okay. So I'm going to check my time here. I want to make sure I don't keep you too long. I know you have another class to go to. Okay. I have a little bit of time. So because I want you guys to feel the relaxation, because it's so important to use yoga for relaxation, I'm going to have you guys go into your final relaxation pose now. There's so much I want to do in these classes, but I'll just keep building. So come down to lying on your mat. And if you're at home and you have pillows or if you have a couch cushion or something, I have a yoga bolster, and this is what it looks like. It's a specific yoga bolster, and I use this for underneath my knees when I do Shavasana or final relaxation pose. But you can use a pillow, you can use a couch pillow, like I said, anything that'll give you some support underneath your knees. Here at school, you'll just lay straight. So the other thing about final relaxation is we're going to bring our body temperature down. So if you have socks, put your socks on. If you haven't, I should have said that when you're doing standing poses, you just want to have your socks off, because that's why we have a sticky mat. It gives us grip and traction. And then I'm going to grab my sweatshirt, because while I'm laying there, I'm going to get chilly. And if you're home and you have a blanket, you can grab a blanket. Okay? So come to lying on your mat. And again, if you're going to use something underneath your legs, put it underneath your knees, and then we lie straight back. Palms facing up, and your arms are on an angle. You can see me here. So just get nice and cozy on your mat. If you don't have a bolster, you're just going to lay down. Okay? You can start by bending your knees and tucking your pelvis under so that you have a nice full lower back. Because sometimes when we get, especially us women, we tend to have some of us have a natural arch in our lower back that we can hurt if we don't take care of it. So when I lay down, I like to tuck my lower back under so it's nice and flat, so I can't even get my hand under there. And then I lengthen my legs out. Arms to the side, palms facing up. And just begin to settle and feel all of the work that we did today. We activated so many muscles. We've really used our legs. We've really used our shoulders. Just let the shoulders release back onto the mat. Let the legs just release and relax. Let them be heavy. Scan your body from the tips of your toes up to the crown of your head, and just look for new sensations. Did you wake something up, maybe that you've never even felt before? Did you release or relax someplace that maybe when you started was sore, tight? There's so much about yoga that's simply observation and sharpening our mind. Really learning to tune into your body, learning to listen and be aware. In a world where we're so externally focused, right? We're focused on what's going on around us in the world, what's going on the phone, on the computer, in class, with our friends. We so rarely tune in internally, what's going on within ourselves. Feel the breath come in through the nose, lift the chest, and move out through the nose. Feel the chest fall and release. As you get distracted by thoughts, as you get pulled away from being right here, right now, listen to my voice and come back to your breath. Come back to your body. Feel the way the body feels on the mat, on hard floor. Take some time just for you. Good. Now begin to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Take a deep breath in. And then roll to your right side. You can use your arm as a pillow. And push up into sitting. And then feel the way each of these transition feels. So we went from laying to laying on our side to now sitting up. Tuning into all these little sensations that you feel in your chest, your arms, your back, your head, your legs. Good. Thank you so much for joining me for yoga today, and I hope to see you really soon. Bye.